This is a story called, Well, My Neck Kinda Hurts. Dwight woke up on the floor, or rather he came to on the floor. One shoe on, one shoe off, pants inside out and down to his ankles. He remembered drinking. He remembered the Uber home. He wasn't sure how he got inside, but he vaguely remembered taking his pants off to get more comfortable, and maybe tripping and falling because he hadn't taken his shoes off first, which explains the shoe situation and why his neck kinda hurts. He glanced at the clock above the TV. 5:45 a.m. He sighed. I'm glad I'm off today. Even as he cursed his tendency to wake up at the same time every morning, regardless of when he had gone to bed. He pushed himself up to his feet and taking a quick mental inventory, noticed his cold and stiff and his neck kinda hurt, which made sense from laying on the floor, the hardwood floor, mostly naked for a few hours. So he shuffled off to the bedroom and collapsed on his actual bed under the covers after kicking his shoes off and wrestling his pants past his feet. Soon he was sleeping like the dead and was having a wonderful dream involving a hot tub, Alyssa Molino, and a snow shovel. Well, that part was just weird. Just as his phone started to ring, the ringing became incorporated into his dream. As he half woke and strained to turn his head and look at his alarm clock in confusion, Dwight yelled for Siri to answer the phone and put it on speaker. It was the shift supervisor. He was due in 10 minutes. I'm off today, he whined. You're off for the last 2 days. Today is Monday. Are you on your way or are you getting fired this morning? He doesn't even pause to consider that he's apparently been asleep for 48 hours. He's into panic job recovery mode. It was not exactly a lot to say. I think I have the flu or something. I'm cold and achy. I can't come in. You're slurring your words. You sound like you're still drunk. If you don't bring a note in with you, don't bother to show up. Fine, I'll get the freaking note, he yelled and shouted for Siri to end the call. His tongue does feel like it's kind of numb, but he feels too clear-headed to be intoxicated. Stumbling to the bedroom, he walks in the dark to find his NyQuil. He decides his neck is getting worse, so he decides a couple of ibuprofen are also in order. It's really hard to swallow. His mouth is super dry. Freaking flu, he mutters. Turning back to go back to the bed, he catches a sight of himself in a reflection in the bedroom mirror, and it startles him so badly he swears his heart has stopped. He's got a huge bruise on the side of his face. He must have hit the ground harder than he thought when he fell. Maybe he has a concussion. That would explain the pain and the sleepiness. He goes back to bed and is dead to the world almost instantly. Sadly, Alyssa does not reappear and does not have a disturbing dream about the Middle East and men in robes yelling at him in a language he doesn't understand. They seem to want him to follow them, but he remembers enough from Sunday school not to go following Moses into the desert for years. He runs the other way and hides at a Taco Bell slash laundromat combo place that appears to be next to a shopping mall because dreams always make sense like that. Hunger pains wake him up. He is famished and is stiff and maybe dehydrated. His mouth is so dry. He figures the fridge can solve most of these issues, but sadly it's mostly empty. Besides some blue, fuzzy leftovers in the disposable container his mom gave him last week, the other highlights include a stick and a half of butter, the 2 open bottles of catsup, and some obvious freezer burnt burritos in the freezer section. Nothing he wants to eat. He wants something meaty. Chicken, better yet beef, a cheeseburger, or maybe a steak, rare. He wonders if DoorDash has access to a steakhouse. First some water, then he will check it out. Dwight drinks and drinks and drinks right from the tap like he does when no one is looking. And since he lives alone in an apartment, no one is ever looking. So he does it all the time. Eventually, he gets the slightly uncomfortable, disdain feeling in his stomach as he fills up with water, but it feels satisfying at the same time. He figures alcohol had left him dehydrated, as alcohol tends to. He drinks to his fill, fills up an oversized convenience store cup for later, goes back to bed, already forgetting about the food since his belly is full of water. Less than an hour later, he wakes up face down, bed with water up to his nose. His stomach is less full and feels better, but it feels like he has been wet in the bed for some time. The liquid is cold. It is wet around his mouth and has an underwear is so dry. He doesn't remember being nauseous, and surely that would have woken him up if he threw up, but clearly all the water he consumed has all ran back up his throat, and it's the strangest sensation. He can't even feel water slushing around his lungs, but doesn't feel like he needs to cough. He probably should be more worried about that, but with his stomach freshly empty, he is famished. He pulls up DoorDash on his phone, finds the first steakhouse that pops up, and ordered three super steaks, super rare, with potatoes and butter and sour cream. For whatever reason, he is seriously craving protein and fats. He doesn't even flinch at the cost and throws it bigger than usual tip, hoping to expedite the process. The time quoted 27 minutes, so he stands by the door to wait so he can get the food inside him as quickly as possible. It's almost like he's in a trance. He is not even aware of the time pass as he stands there. The thought of food makes him tremble, and he'll be drooling except for his mouth is dry. He can smell the meat before the guy even knocks on his door. He's hyper aware of the food and doesn't even really register the footsteps down the hall. It's like his brain shut down waiting for the food. Other stimuli is irrelevant. The delivery guy double checks the apartment number since it's obvious the lights are off in the apartment, and sounds like a medium large size dog is sniffling and half growling behind the door. The numbers match and the info in the delivery app, so he shrugs and knocks. No answer, but the shuffles and growls get louder. He waits a few seconds, knocks harder. Food here, he announced. Now the dog is scratching at the door. He likes the dogs, is happy to pet them, but he really hopes the homeowner has it under control. He doesn't want to get jumped on or bitten if the dog is unfriendly or decide the steaks are for him. He sighs, knocks again even harder. I got your food, he yells. You got 30 seconds or I'm going back to my car. He's still banging hard on the door when it opens suddenly. His arm is on a downswing and he ends up off balance. His delight there is no dog. To his extreme dismay, the customer who answered isn't wearing pants, is in wet from the chin down and smells like death. Literally, Dwight catches the guy's arm awkwardly and stiffly. He ignores the steaks in the bag, smells burnt to him, and goes right to the source of fresh meat and starts biting on the delivery guy's arm. Caught by surprise, the delivery guy finds Dwight's teeth are effectively penetrating his skin and opening several veins and arteries. He is mostly unconscious as Dwight drags him into the apartment, but doesn't even bother closing the door as he starts chewing on the delivery man. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more I upload, and we all appreciate you from this channel of Bedtime Pasta.
Once a girl who dreamed of angels and demons and darling between, lived in a castle of stone like a family, dwelt in the courtyard and danced with her memory.